Hello, hello. I went live on Facebook a couple of times this today, but going live and doing a tour of the garden doesn't really work so well. Um, the connectivity gets all weird and everything. So I decided to do a tour, kind of the same thing I was showing, but just recording it instead. And putting it on YouTube so that you guys can see it. So this one should be shared on my Facebook for you to watch it. And I'm very excited to give a walkthrough of my newest garden, which it's not much, but when we get up close and personal, you can really see what is happening here. And if you've seen my other garden videos, I had a garden in when I lived in an RV, and it was all in pots, of course. And then I had a garden when I lived in an apartment, which was pots and in ground. And now we bought this property, and it's been quite the learning curve, which you'll hear about as I give you the tour. So enjoy. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me all right. I'm going to start at the very front area and give you guys a little bit of a feel here. So essentially, the front area right here is our storm drain ditch because we live in a community area that also processes its own water. And so we all have catchment systems in the ditch. And the very front field here is a drain field. Now, coming up closer here, you can see that my plan for the ditch is to let it be all natural. And I'm going to get really close here. So I come through, and I forgot my scissors. I usually just cut these. That one came out pretty easy. Anything invasive, I usually just cut at ground level, or if it wants to come out easy, I'll just pull it out. So these are the last little bits. I just did the ditch. The last bits of Scotch broom left. That one was already cut. Okay, so now, and I fell on my ass. Ugh. Okay, now, so for the drain ditch area, we have a whole bunch of evergreen huckleberry plants. So evergreen huckleberry plants grow about, I would say, probably 6 to 10 feet tall. They do stay green all year round, and they provide edible fruit. As you can see, I'm going to have a beautiful hedge that's kind of weaved of evergreen blackberry. So for that reason, I don't actually have to install a permanent fence in the front, or install like arborvitae or anything like that. Oh, little bumblebee. There she goes. So what I've been doing is making sure that in this ditch, invasive plants get cut out, allowing for those that I do want to thrive to take hold. So here's a view from the other side. You can see that all the way to my pole and the fence, we have evergreen blackberries in a hedge. Now, along this is also salal, I think is what it's called, or sal. Tons and tons of that all along here, which is also an evergreen plant. And also we have some trailing blackberry, which I've been cutting it back a little bit. I haven't been getting rid of all of it, but I have been cutting some of it back. And one last thing I want to show you in the all natural area. See here, you can tell the difference between an invasive blackberry and a native one. The invasive blackberries usually have more flat with purpley tinged on the edges leaves, and usually have 5. Sometimes they'll have 3, but they do have 3, but you can also tell with the other features of the purplish tinge. This one is roughly. This one appears to me to be probably a salmonberry. So we have some salmonberry and stuff like that growing here. Oh, this is another Scotch broom that I missed right here. I just came out here and did a whole cutting. You can see. See, I just cut them at the ground level and leave them. One more thing before you get super dizzy. You can see there's a lot of baby trees. A lot of baby evergreen trees. And then here, another berry. Okay. All right. So now with that said, basically the front of my house is going to be just this. Oh, see here we have another. I missed a number of these. I'll come out a few times. I just pulled all the leaves off of that Scotch broom. I'll come out. Early spring is the best time to do a permaculture weeding process because you'll start to see all the sprouts of everything, and you just come out, once or twice a week and cut what you see, and it just weakens the plants. They can't even take hold. Now, this is a Washington Hawthorn, and we definitely have had some curious deer, but it's good up top, so that's really good. And it has these very long, sharp spikes. So I'm really hoping that this one will take to its little home. And then I have Kinnikick, I think is what it's called. What is it called? Right here. Kinnikick. Okay. So look, I'm even getting little flowers on this one already. And that spreads. And then also I have this Barberry, which I'm seeing little flower buds all over it. Look. See those gorgeous little flower buds? So these are just planted in the same hole. All 3 just planted in the same hole together there. And they're doing just fine. So this little corner is going to be a bit of a spiky little corner right there. And in the ground, you can see I already have some friends moving in, or should I say waking up. So we have ground bees. There's one. Yeah, so this little corner is definitely not going to be hospitable to the deer pretty soon. But until then, I have just a little annoying little fishing line right here wrapped around that one. And about 3 annoying little fishing lines all over here, just to make it not nearly as fun to try to even get through. Oh, look, another what do you call it? Another hole. Okay. Now, along there, and you can see it, and maybe I can get close enough. I'm in the middle of all of my fishing line now. We have all along this fence right here, which I'm going to let grow. Creeping Oregon grape. Creeping Oregon grape is native and very good for the ecosystem. And this plant stays evergreen. So basically everything along there is evergreen that I just showed you. And it's going to cover this whole ground. You can see it's already popping up. It grows probably about 2 feet tall at the most. There is a tall type that grows about 6 feet, I think. But this is certainly creeping Oregon grape. And it's very healthy and very happy. So we have some more. And it's very beautiful. So that'll be a really nice little plant right there. I got this baby tree. Oh no, that's a creeping Oregon grape as well, I think. All right. So essentially, this whole corner is basically going to just be native plants, spiky plants, and things mostly that the deer probably don't love. For access issues. So there's going to be that. Here we have one that I will be getting rid of. We have a whole host of ivy. So I'm going to pull those right now. Not even going to wait. Yep, definitely do not want ivy. Ivy is invasive. Here's some Scotch broom. Pull that one out. Here's another. Pull that one out. Yeah, so we definitely don't want any of these. Wow, I missed a lot. And I want you guys to know, last year, this time, I did this method of weeding. There was bracken fern everywhere. And now I've seen maybe 1 or 2 little heads. Because I did this method of weeding all spring. Just went and stomped on them or cut them at the base. And they're gone. Because it weakens them. They can't develop a root system without. This is a blue rug juniper that has certainly seen better days. Certainly. And then I just put in the Stonecrop and another type of Stonecrop. We also have some flowers in there as well. Now along this corner, eventually I would like my driveway to be down in a small brick retaining wall right along here. And just around this little tiny corner, a small flower bed. Oh, look, we have a bee. A couple of them. We had a lot of those golden digger wasps. Oh, you see it? It just went into that hole. Yep, making little homes. So I'd really like there to be like a retaining wall here so that it's less inviting for the bees right here, and instead they decide to go over to the other side. You know, just coexisting. I'm almost thinking I do probably have enough like rock and riprap to do it right here, maybe. Not sure. So here are my Spanish lavender plants. And I'm leaving them in there for now. But I'm thinking that it would be nice to have a hedge, like a little corner of those. I have 13 of them. So I'm thinking I might be able to actually get them to go like maybe this far, and then just a little tiny corner right there. And then have my bay laurel tree, which is an evergreen right there. I think that would smell good and be really beautiful. And so far, my teeny tiny little flower bed, these are all just little bits and bobs that I dug up from around my property. Here's a blue Speedwell looking absolutely darling. And then these are Dianthus. So that's going to be really pretty in purple, I believe. And then we have here a feverfew. And I'm going to call those pansies, but they're not. It's the other one that looks like a little face that I, for some reason, can't think of the name today. Now, I got this EcoFlake 7.5 cubic feet usable volume of animal bedding. But essentially, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's wood shavings. Perfect for growing in. Okay, now you might be able to see my fishing line right here as well. So if they do decide to wander around this way, they're going to be a little bit annoyed by the fishing line blocking from. I hope that this bay laurel right here, which is an evergreen and grows about, I think it was 10 feet tall. I kind of just had it buried with a bunch of other plants, but it's my hope that that one will take off. Only one side of it looks alive, so we'll see. Be having some morning glories, cosmos, just all the things along this whole fence line. Moonflower. And here, this is a President Gravy lilac. And it's got plenty of buds, so I know that. So I think, and look, we have some sort of little seedlings going there. Yeah. So I'm going to give her or him, it's probably a him, I think, on that one, the rest of this season maybe in that pot, but I don't know. I'm kind of debating on putting it in the ground right there because I think it would be really beautiful to have like a huge lilac multi-trunk tree set up here covering like maybe, I don't know, 15 feet. Yes. All along my fence line, I put a whole bunch of moonflower and morning glory, so I'm excited to see that. And in my yard, I, of course, do not pull weeds. But yeah, not one single, or maybe I've seen one bracken fern. So it worked. The way of removing them worked. I didn't pull them up or anything. All I did was just spent one spring, early spring, just cutting them. And I did that also with a whole bunch of invasive, the Himalayan blackberry, I actually did pull a lot of the knots up, the root knots. Okay. So right here, this area right here, also where my golden chain tree is, I want the golden chain tree probably to go in the ground. And I want this to be just a flower garden. So I have put some bulbs in the ground there and also some flower seeds. So we'll see what happens there.